Hi, and welcome everyone. This is Scott Royal Smith, Esquire, your all-around attorney and investor amigo on this path to financial freedom. Today, we are privileged to be able to have Gary Wilson with us from the Global Investor Agent team. And I got to tell you guys, this is a special treat because in my life, what I've found is that it's actually the very few but critical relationships that you make along the way is what really makes a big difference. And I've known Gary actually for quite a while from another group, men's group that we belong to called Go Abundance, which is really founded around the question that says, "Hey, so you have money, now what? Now does what happens in life now?" And they've built a fantastic community around guys coming together that are saying, hey, it's about bucket list adventures. It's about living authentically. It's about having these kind of great relationships and your charitable giving. And I've known Gary for quite a while now to be a guy who is, and I'm learning more and more about him every day, actually, about how deeply he is invested as well into creating opportunities to help people become educated and help get support on their path to financial freedom, both in total number as well as how quickly can they get to that financial independence and then ultimately to that financial freedom. And my understanding is that that is what Gary's mission is right now in life and why he has the Global Investor Agent team. But those are all the words out of my mouth, Gary. Why don't you share with us, what's true for you in this moment? What did I not hit, or what can you clarify for us?
Well, thank you, Scott. That's a great introduction, and that's it's humbling too. I appreciate everything you're saying, and life has been a very interesting journey for me, from the very beginning. And in fact, just a quick tidbit: I wasn't born in a hospital like most people. I was born on the Czechoslovakian border in Germany, East Bavaria, Germany, in the middle of a blizzard, and the doctor was pushing my mother out on a gurney out to a helicopter pad because we couldn't there you couldn't drive anywhere. The snow drifts for 15 feet, so they sent a helicopter out. And my dad was an officer, and so we got the privilege of riding in a helicopter. And they thought I was going to be born in a helicopter. Turns out I was born right before that, so they shoved me or my mother in a utility closet, and I was born in a utility closet. And they wrapped me in the old army wool blankets. Can you imagine a brand new baby with a wool on their skin, raw skin, and shoved me in a box, and the umbilical cord was still connected, and put us in a helicopter, and they put my mom in a strapped in gurney in a helicopter wearing the nurse's coat. The nurse wasn't wearing a coat. The nurse was in a jumper seat trying to hold me in the box. And my mom said the whole 2 hour it was like a 15-minute flight. It took like 2 hours because of the blizzard. The nurse was screaming, and the helicopter was going up and down and left and right. And we landed in Nuremberg, and there was Stars and Stripes magazine was there taking pictures and wanted to meet the first airborne baby of the year. And they found out I really wasn't born in the air. And the funny is that's the first 2 hours of my life. I mean, my whole life has really been sort of like that. I mean, it was a fun adventure. I was completely safe the whole time. I didn't know any different. Obviously, I was an infant, but I always tell people sometimes life is for me, like a roller coaster ride in the middle of a hurricane. And you think of a hurricane, it's pretty scary, right? Because I've been in several hurricanes, but when the eye passes over, it's very calm and peaceful. So I told people, and there have been periods of my life where I just happened to be on the roller coaster right as the roller coaster is going downhill, the downhill run where it's exhilarating, right in the eye of the hurricane where it's calm and peaceful. And those brief moments have far outweighed all the moments of sheer terror. When you got storm surges and 150-mile-an-hour winds and you're doing loopy loops in a helicopter. But if you keep your head on straight and you keep your focus and and make more better decisions than bad decisions, you're going to turn out okay. You know, and you tend to relax as life goes on. So I would say if we're going to fill in a gap, that's probably one gap I would fill it in because it's even when I still listen to that story today. I'm at my mother's house. She'll tell it to me, every month or so. I'm still just amazed by it, what that poor woman went through. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh. So, any case,
I can only
yeah,
imagine what that must be like to be, to be her. And
yeah,
it's interesting, that you don't make it through something like that without like other people taking care of you,
right.
right? And And I think that a lot of people in this life, right? A lot of people are out here saying like, "Hey, I feel really alone. I don't know where to go to. I don't know what to
Mhm.
trust. I don't know," because you get inundated from everybody, from all the ads you see and everything else. Everybody else out there is like, "Oh, I'll help you. I'll help you. I'll help you." And you're like, "Yeah, but how do I actually know like who to trust?"
Yeah.
And what I always tell people is like, that's why you really got to listen to like see like who's out there like actually um like who's in charge of whatever they're
Mhm.
doing, and then what does it look like the values of that person really is,
Yeah.
because at some point in everybody's life, hopefully they go and they start being able to find people that are like that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so happy to have you onto the show, Gary, is because I know that you know that there's a lot of value in coming from this place that's beyond financial, that has this quality to it of saying, how can I really have the fun game about how many people can I help, and how quickly can I get
Mhm.
them to move through something that's really difficult, um, to do it on your
Mhm.
own, called how do you get to financial independence and to financial freedom. And that you've developed a company that's around here for the global investor agent team. That
Mhm.
first, I think primarily, I know they help real estate agents and investors, and then also has some education components to it. But I'm curious because the first step in that freedom is really around, can you build the business? Can you increase
Yeah.
that top line revenue? And I'm wondering about how you're doing that with real estate agents.
Yeah. Well, it's a great question. So there's when I teach, one of the things I do, or probably one of the primary roles I play in this business, is that I strive to identify talent and leadership in other people and then help them build that. So like right now, I've got 160 something agents around this in 37 of the 50 states and a couple Canadian provinces. And they all are operating at different levels of success and different levels of activity, different levels of production. And there's about six of them. I thought it was, I've actually counted six that are really at the highest level, and they've achieved financial independence. They want to be financially free, and they're close enough. They can see it. They know it's real because they've met some other awesome people out there who have achieved that true financial freedom. Financial freedom is you don't have to work anymore. You know, your business, your money, your investments are working enough for you in a passive way that you don't have to do anything. You're living by choice. The way to get there, though, this is really everybody. If you could please write this down, um, it's a high level map, and what it starts with this: is first thing is you got to really be clear on your vision, okay? And your vision really isn't just your vision. We it's not from your what I call your small mind. Like we are all capable of being, rational and analytical and you know dealing with current circumstances in a moment. And that's critical. You need to be able to do that. But real vision comes from way beyond what you're capable of thinking and conceiving. You've got to, give yourself permission to tap into, a higher consciousness. And I'm not trying to get religious here. I promise you I'm not. But if you just think about the world and how we fit in the universe and everything works together, clearly there's intelligence in the universe. It's too perfect. You know, it's too perfect. I'm looking at one of the most beautiful views on the planet, looking over the Shenandoah Mountains, and it's absolutely perfect. But your vision, when you tap into that level of energy, is usually much, much bigger than anything you and I can conceive of on our own. So vision is number one. Second thing is you got to have faith. If the universe is giving you this vision, clearly it must mean something. It has value, it has purpose, and it's meant to be. You got to have faith in that. Just have faith that it's meant to be. It's probably already there. You just might not have fully realized it yet. So vision, faith, then you got to take bold action. You got to take action at lots of levels, but the big wins come from the boldest action. So take bold action. By the way, hire good people. Don't be in a hurry to just hire the next person. I promise you, if you take that path, your business will be a struggle. But if you focus on hiring the best people and paying what they're worth, you're going to have the right team members to help you realize your vision. Okay, um, and really at that point, you have to have trust in your people, right? So vision, faith, bold action, hire the right people, and trust those people. Be able to delegate. You never give up control, but you do give up responsibility. You delegate responsibility, and but you maintain control. You don't give up control. I probably should rephrase that. It, I don't want you to think that you should be attached to any particular outcome. That's not what I mean by control. What I mean by control is being in control of the messaging that goes out and how you inspire your people, right? How you educate them. We always lead with education. That's one of our key mantras. We lead with education, the right education plus the right action, plus, sorry, right education plus the right information plus the right action equals right results. Okay. So we start there and we detach ourselves from any particular outcome so we can focus on the action, we focus on the journey, and usually the universe will deliver the outcome to you, you know. So I know that sounds like it's way out there, but I promise you, if you grasp that and you write it down, um, and you flesh that out in your journaling, you'll see how critically important that is, and you really can't skip any steps. Everything's when people ask me what's the most important thing, and I'll say everything is the most important thing. You know, it's true. So just trying to ramble on there, but that really,
No, it's beautiful,
Scott,
man.
that
I
was
was sitting here just like soaking it in because I was like, yeah,
okay.
preach, brother. That's it. I love it.
Yeah,
It's a lot of people are looking for shortcuts. Yeah. Like I see
yeah,
this
yeah,
like even on like Instagram all the time now where it's like here's like your top 21 things, you're gonna do to be able to accomplish XYZ in 8 seconds, you
yeah.
know. And it's kind of funny. It reminded me of like a time when my niece was recently telling me, she's
Mhm.
gonna like do all this stuff to like basically like save the world, the young woman's, the young man's aspirations, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm gonna do all this and I'm gonna change the world and I'm gonna change the way people are thinking, about this stuff and bring peace to everything. And I sat down with her and I was like, baby, I'm with you. I was like, let's go get them.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if we should start with being able to say, like, can we create peace and focus inside of our own lives? Can we do that first?
yeah,
Because maybe we need to be able to do that first before we go to try to like bring it to like everybody else. And it's like this piece about like you can't skip the step,
right.
that there's a way in which good tools, good coaching helps you move through the steps easily. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Right. But you don't get to
definitely.
skip the steps that
Yeah.
come with it. I love that too, because you were sharing with me earlier before we got on too, is that like the approach that you take with the real estate agents and the investors that you help here is
Mhm.
like it's a very organized, like it's a step-by-step process where no matter
Mhm.
where they're at in the process of from the very beginning of not having a clue about what's going on, but just having a desire saying, hey, one day I would really like to be free, versus, hey, maybe I have a successful business, versus, hey, I'm doing a little bit of investing, but I don't really know how to get to those final steps. And then you're able to just talk to them about exactly where they're at. Okay, great. How do we just get you to the next step? Because that's all we really got to do. Just get you just one step
Mhm.
further.
That's it. Yeah, to me, well, I mentioned this a moment ago, the journey is what's the most important thing. The destination just simply becomes a measurement. When you get to where you want to go, that's a measure. Well, I succeeded. And well, now what are you going to do? But if you really focus on the journey, life's a lot more enjoyable. So everybody's at different stages of their journey. And one of the things I learned over the years is as a teacher, I was not able to really reach um, people personally one on one because it was a one to many relationship. I'm one person teaching many people. And it's like the analogy of the river. I'm on one side of the river and I'm hollering over to the other side of the river and giving them instructions on how to swim across the river. But it's up to them to actually jump in the water and start swimming, right? And that's how you really learn. You learn from doing. So when I got into coaching, I realized that I'm going to be a lot more effective if I actually swim over to where they are first. So this is an analogy, of course, but in plain language, what this means is to go to where that person is in their life, their current state of mind, where they are financially, where they are in their relationships, and learn about them, figure out really truly where they are. Because if you try to have a one size fits all type of a program, you're not going to really help too many people because everybody's at different stages of life, different walks of life, different circumstances, physically, mentally, financially, emotionally. So when you really dig into that person, right, and learn about them and go deep, find the gold inside of them. Here's the benefit as a coach. It helps you connect with them at a much deeper level, so you know how they think, and you know what kind of marketing, for example. This is a practical reason why this is important. What type of marketing is that person most likely to succeed at? Because some people are born to door knock and cold call. Some people are not, right? So you have to recognize that and give them the right marketing that they would execute to be successful. So you go to where they are, find out how they operate, right? Then you find out what their vision is, because your vision might not necessarily be their vision. In fact, your vision is only your vision, and their vision is only their vision. You might have a lot in common, and you probably do. And like in our case, we're all involved in real estate investing, so we have a lot in common. But when you figure out what their vision is, then you help them create the goals that are in alignment with the vision. Then you help them define the action steps that drive the goals through to the achievement of the vision. And ultimately, the plan is what makes it all, brings it all together. And by the way, every good plan, some of it's in pen and a lot of it's in pencil. but but when you, what I'm getting at is, now you can take that person arm in arm and swim with them across the river together, hand in hand. Guarantee you've got about a 99% chance of success when you swim with them from where they are to where they want to go, versus you just standing over there and hollering instructions across the river. You got maybe a 20% shot of success that way. But when you coach one-on-one and you take those important proper steps, it's like their goals become your goals. It's not an attachment. It's not like you're attached to their goals, but you understand their goals, right? And you know what action steps to take, what journey to take with them, to help them achieve their goals. That's probably one of the best ways I can describe it. I know it's very unique, because I know I've told you this, Scott. Is the odd thing about the way I do it is people don't pay me up front, not one dime. They don't pay for any of this stuff. The training materials, the coaching. You know, I'm 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 I have faith, I have trusted them that they're going to take action and they're going to succeed, and that's when I succeed. For those of you wondering what I'm talking about in practical terms is, um, I get a small piece of their commissions to pay for all the coaching and training and mentoring and the marketing and the leads and all that, which is very unique. Usually you got to pay coaches for that kind of stuff up front, which I used to do. But again, I didn't feel the connection with the students. I knew 80% of them really weren't doing the work anyways, and it just didn't feel right. Wasn't I wasn't fulfilled. This was fulfilling, and life's a lot more exciting. It's like the roller coaster ride. It's like flying in a helicopter when I was basically an hour old, and I didn't know any better. I just had faith. I just thought that was normal. In my mind, I probably thought every brand new baby flies in a helicopter the first 2 hours. And you got to trust the pilot. You got to trust your mother. You got to trust the nurse. Trust the co-pilot. Trust the helicopter, right? And when you live that way, you're going to get rewarded. Success, abundance is far greater when you can live without the attachment. When you can live from giving, a state of giving, and let the receiving happen. Just let the universe send to you. What your you know what it thinks you should get. When you live that way, life's a lot more fulfilling.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and I wanted to highlight this a little bit, Gary, is that like, yeah, when you're, fair to say, right, that you're like a self-made man, right? Like you had to create everything from the ground up, from your very first businesses to, you know, everything from like start to finish. Yeah. Um, I wanted to highlight that in conjunction with everything else that you're saying, because one of the topics that I talk a lot about is saying that the quickest way to get to where you want to be in life is to find somebody else that already has whatever it is that you want, and then just do
Mhm.
exactly what they tell you to do. And then after you've mastered exactly what they tell you to do, then that's when you can start to try to innovate on your own. And that's when
Yeah.
you do that, like it's the quickest way. But this is like the value of the learned experience, um, because it's only through the value of a learned experience are you able to go across the river to be able to actually say like, hey, look, I'm going to show you how to swim, right? Without the value of learned
Mhm.
experience, the best thing you can do is stand on the other shore and shout at people like, I got a textbook and I'm reading it to you. I downloaded this
Hmm.
thing off of ChatGPT. It tells me here's the 21 steps you need to do,
Yeah.
and I'm reading them to you here, and this is what's going on, right? And I think,
Yeah.
and I want to just take a second to highlight that, is because like that says it takes both sides, um, for my experience for it to really work. It takes the lived experience side with with the desire to want to actually be that connected to the individuals to go help them.
Hmm.
Because without that, you know, you're too disconnected. And I love how you've set this game up for yourself, as an extension of your life, like into your business, where it says like I'm only going to allow myself the win when other people are winning. And
Yeah.
I'm curious about what's important to you about aligning your finance, because you don't have to, like you could very easily charge for this and take a percentage of
Yeah.
whatever, or be entitled to a percentage of whatever their sales are, but you did it differently. And you said, oh, I'm actually just going to win whenever they win. And what was important for you about that?
Well, I think what it comes down to is when you have that type of relationship, it really is purely based on honor and integrity. Like I, I'm, I'm believing enough in another person that they're going to take the right kind of action. They're going to follow the instructions and get the results. Um, and I mean that sincerely, and I really do believe that. But what happens is, there's always remuneration. There has to be an exchange of value in particularly business relationships that wouldn't have honor and integrity. But I don't necessarily dictate what that is. I mean, there's some people on my team where I might not make anything from, but there's some people I'm being rewarded quite handsomely. Overall, it definitely works out. But it's the honor and the integrity. And by the way, I did actually, over the years, I would say I didn't get where I am by myself. I definitely, had a lot of help. I know I came up with the goals. Through proper meditation, I got the vision, right? What I call the big vision, again, not my small mind vision. Um, I did determine what are all the goals that person has that I identified in the vision, and determine all the action steps needed to take to achieve each of those goals. And I've been planning them out for the last 20 years. Um, but along the way, I was really blessed enough to meet some pretty amazing people, not just at the coaching level, but also some of the employees and bringing them on board. And I mean, I have two people with me that I've had with me for over 15 years, you know, um, and we're like family. It's just incredible. Even though we all live in different parts of the world, we've been together through. I've seen children, be born, graduate high school, get married. I've been to their weddings and graduations, and boy, you talk about fulfillment. But back to the winning part. Um, what's interesting in every entrepreneur, there's an inherent desire and tendency to believe you're going to win. We don't ever Failure doesn't ever enter our mind. I mean, when we do a due diligence on a property, yes, we see that there's potential downside risk. What I mean though is when it comes to our vision, we know it's already there, right? We don't only believe it; it's a knowing. It's deeper than a believing. It's a deep knowing. Um, it's just a matter of us, being awake and aware enough to figure out what are some goals along the way we should be achieving to realize that vision. What are the right action steps to take? And having enough faith that the right results will come when we take the right action. But it's the winning. What I'm getting is that some people call that winning. You're going to succeed. Some people call it winning. It is winning, and we do want to win. We just don't see it any other way. We don't believe that our vision is wrong or we're going to fail in achieving our vision. And by the way, what's interesting is there is no guarantee. You could be called from this life at any time. You know, I mean, if I really fully achieve any financial vision I ever had, I'd have to live to be 126 years old or something. So, but I'm okay with that because I'd rather shoot for the stars, right? Remember Og Mandino? I'd rather shoot for the stars and hit the moon than shoot for the moon and hit a rock. And you get used to that. You get used to raising the bar and pushing beyond what your small mind thinks you're capable of. and it becomes a habit, right? And you realize, because you know you're a business person, you're an entrepreneur, you know, if you don't do that, by the way, I teach you this real quick. We call it floor target game. Floor is the minimally acceptable results. Target is what you think you probably should achieve based on conventional wisdom. Game is what you're really aiming for. So you aim for the game, right? And even if you hit your target, if you just shot for your target, you might only hit the floor. That's why we always aim for what much higher than our small minds give us credit for being capable of achieving. So,
I love that.
yep,
Floor, target, game.
yep,
Shoot for the game, people. Define your
that's
target.
it.
If you just shoot for the game the whole time, you're going to feel like a
Yep,
failure. But if you have a good target in there, you're likely going to feel like, okay, cool. I'm actually probably beating my target.
yeah,
Than if you weren't doing anything at all. That's beautiful. So much to learn from you, Gary, about the ways in which that you have these like art, like just really, I don't want to call them simple in like any other type of way, but it's just very clear, understandable practices of what you're doing with the people that you're coaching, and helping, and just like you have here, right? Like these are really powerful things. They're very simple. They're easy to
yeah,
execute. And like all that's really left is to say, hey, do the work. The work is actually very
yeah,
clear. It's very simple to do. And if you do them, then you will be successful, because it's been proven out by just thousands and thousands and thousands of people that have implemented this.
but yeah,
And we don't need to be the top 1/10 of 1% of achievers. If we're just doing all the right things, we're going to be where we want to go to. We're going to be above target and probably
yeah,
closer to game than the average bear, because most people don't do all the right things. They get caught up doing a bunch of other stuff besides the
oh
right
yeah,
things, you know? Gary, I know we just have like a couple of minutes here, and just wrapping up, and I just wanted to give you an opportunity for anybody to reach out. Like who are the types of people that you're looking to connect with now, and what should they expect in connecting with you, and how might be the best way for them to do that?
sure. Well, we have a couple of websites, but probably the one that's most important right now is for the ones for real estate agents, and it's called globalinvestoragent.com. And you can scroll through there and watch a couple videos, and you can get a book. I've written 9 books. The ninth book is on there now. You can meet some of the team members, you can meet some of the coaches, but also you can just go down and fill out a little field. It's just an online form that says, "Hey, Gary, I want to talk to you," and Beverly will set it up. You'll literally get to talk to the real live Beverly. She's been my implementer for 15 years again. I mean, we're just an amazing. She used to own a telemarketing company with 400 agents, and she's a real estate investor. She's a freaking rock star. But she'll set up an appointment with me, and all I do is I just ask you a couple of key questions. And sometimes, there's a match there, and I'm like, hey, you should probably try this. And other times, I'll say all you gotta do is tweak this, tweak that, and you're gonna be fine. Let's stay in touch though. Come to class on Monday night. It's free anyways. And so by the way, on that same website, you can click on a link to register for a Monday night live class. It's open to everybody. Doesn't matter if you're an investor or an agent. But back to the investor, what's happening right now, guys, is I know it's hard. Okay. Transaction volume has dropped from an average of 11 transactions per agent 4 years ago to 1.89 transactions per year today. That's more than an 80% drop in business. I'm telling you, just please take this as gospel truth is you need to implement the investor part of your model if you're a real estate agent. You need to learn the terminology, learn the methodology. That's what we do. We teach that. Our team is an education-based team so that you have a complete model that serves both parts of the business, right? And you're able to adapt to any market shift. You can survive and thrive in any market. That's what this is all about. So I'm really speaking to the agents now. Man, don't give up, don't quit. Okay, this is not a time to panic. It's time to prepare. So if you're interested, come to Monday Night Live. If that's all you want to do, there's nothing sold there and nothing pitched, nobody recruited. It's straight education, and just do that. But at least you're giving yourself the opportunity. And for those of you who are really ambitious and you've got that burning desire, and you want to learn how to invest yourself, then come on aboard because that's what we do. So, in any case,
I love it, Gary.
that's yeah,
Thank you so much for sharing that, man. And I tell you what, I'm not even an agent, right? I'm an attorney. I run a wealth building company, for asset protection, estate planning, tax, and all of this other stuff. But I actually I'm so curious about your approach with like what it is that you're doing on these calls and what kind of value you're delivering to people and how you're doing that to be able to help facilitate, like, what do we do inside of tough markets and tough times?
Yeah.
Because it's got to be a mindset shift as much as like, hey, here's technically what you need to be doing that's going to be different during these times, because both tactics as well as mindset typically need to shift
Yeah.
in those places. That I'm stoked. I'm going to show up to those calls, man, and I'm gonna
Okay.
start seeing what you're doing there. And so I hope everybody else joins me over there at the Global Investor Agent Team.com website and signing up for the free access to the training call, and just scrolling through there. It's really easy to be able to navigate to everything. So I would sign up for that. Calls, guys, start getting that free education, start getting for the right feel about, hey, is this the right kind of person that I need to have inside my life? So Gary, thank you so much for just a couple extra minutes you ran over today. I know you have another podcast, brother. Thank you everybody for joining us here today. Again, my name is Scott Royal Smith, Royal Legal Solutions. It's the Real Estate Nerds Show. Thank you.